you joking? Okay, well we're not going live obviously, but we are recording, so that's good. I'm just going to use it for recording. Okay. Here's a little bit of 80s pop. This is one from Yazoo. Yazoo there, and Other Side of Love, I think it is. Yeah, that was a lot more slower version than the other one. Earlier on, been watching a little bit of the older Gladiator one, and I thought, oh, I'll have a bash at that, give it a go. It's a slow one. Obviously it's a little more jazzed up version. little bit of my version of Gladiator there, with a little bit more beat than the old Hans Zimmer one. I learnt it when I was listening to it earlier on. But I thought I'd just put a different beat to it to see what it's like. And you know me, I'll just press record and see what happens. You're with me on the journey. Nothing's planned, nothing's rehearsed, nothing's like that. That's the difference between me being a musician. I don't plan anything. I just basically get on there, press record, and off we go, really. See what comes out. And you're definitely not an AI then when you do stuff like that, which is cool. You know, been trying to set up a different camera tonight. It's been going and stopping and going and stopping and going and stopping and stopping. So it's put me late today. I says it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 actually. So I don't think we're live at the moment, although it's saying it's live, but I put a record on because I don't think she's doing it, which is good because I can record when it's nice and quiet here, and I've got my headphones on, I'm just talking to you guys, and then I can put this on later on. So the first one there was Yazoo, The Other Side of Love. That's a bit of Yazoo. And then the other one was Hans Zimmer, Gladiators, which I watched earlier on. So watched a little bit of the old Top of the Pops there, that was pretty cool. And I love the 80s. Oh, that's cool, nice organ sound. See what we've got on here, shall we? Bit of a rock one, eh? 80s rock. Only Wanna Be With You. That's a pretty cool one, eh? Yeah, so there we go. Okay, well, we've been playing about with the pool today, doing some bits and bobs. The other camera would have been on there. I mean, it's a great camera, but for some reason I get sound, but I do not get vision. So that's something I'll have to work on to see if I can get that, because the other camera will be here. I mean, I had it working the other day. I don't know if it'll work again if I just plonk it in. Let's just see. Trouble is it picks up the volume. Nothing like being with us on the journey as the guys. Right. Let's check this camera out, see if it works. Okay, we plugged her in. I mean, it's a Logitech, so she's a pretty good camera as he swings it round. Bloody cable's getting tight. Wait a minute. That's it, do it that way. Right. Well, we did have this thing going the other day. See, it's not lighting up. You've got to do a bit of a mingle. Right, let me just see if I put the source on. I'll add a new source, add a new video. Okay, let's have a look. So what we need to do, and that's the other one, I need to add a new camera source. So I'm going to add the source, we're going to put a new source in and add. Are you working? Are you working? Are you? No, that seems to be working. No. I was hoping to use that one so I can show this one, you see. Hang on, not the right camera. Try that one. Okay, that's me. That's me on that camera. Okay, that's the other one. So if I take move these two off, put this one on. We still ain't got no, do we? See, that's that one. That should be that one, that should. But it's not saying it's on Logitech. You're not saying you're on Logitech. Let's have a look, see if I pull it out. Wait a few seconds, plug it back in. No, she's not working because the light usually pops up on here and that would show me that it's working or not. And judging by that, no light. Oh well, never mind. It's because it's running on this Streamlabs things. It has its own drives and everything. Normally you just plug this straight into a laptop or anything and it will just pick it up from its own drive, but because there's so many different drives in here and options and that, it's getting confused, so I'm not gonna bother about it. So there's a good camera there for someone who wants it, 10 quid, like Logitech. I only bought it for tenner. You can have it for a tenner. More things to put on eBay. Okay, so now we can get rid of that one then. Obviously, if that's not going to work, that source, we'll get rid of that source and we'll come back to one of these. So there's that one, and we can mute that one out and we go back onto that one. There you go, me again. Incidentally, if you want one of these hats, there's a link to my well, basically it's on all the websites actually. It's Streamlabs merchant and it's under Steve Francis, so check it out. It's down the bottom there somewhere as you're looking at it on YouTube. Okay, so let's do something different now. What we got here? Oh, that's cool. Let's do a bit of share then. I know Colin likes this one. Usually I do it on this one, but we'll do it on this one. Big sounds. Yeah, that's when they brought this silly little thing. They introduced this auto sound in the auto voice, auto chord, auto everything else. Then AI took over. God dear. I have loads of arguments with AI musicians. I say, if you can play it, play it. If you can't, don't bother. Because the thing is, if you have AI on your thing and you're a musician and you want to make money out of it, you want to buy it, you want your own license, you can't do that because, say Sumo, I had an argument this morning now at Sumo. Sumo is a thing like, it's an AI thing, and there's famous people there getting paid to say, oh yes, brilliant, it's all that, you know, and I do this, I do that, I used to do this, and used to. No, you're a musician, guys, you know, just selling yourself off. Like, if you're a musician, why the hell are you doing AI stuff? That's what I say. The only time I use AI is in covers, because I can't do good images, but I get my AI to do that and write out all the information. So fair enough, yes, I'm using a bit of AI, but I'm definitely not using it for music, even though I'm not spot on myself because I play out of tune, but I play a warmer, smoother sound. But yeah, no, AI is no good. The companies are only doing it and giving you the actual chance to use this AI. Oh, well, use this AI and pay us £12 a month. Oh, £12 a month. Yeah, add that fucker up for £12 a month over a year. And it's not just a year you're going to be paying. You're going to be paying for the rest of your life. Okay? While you're on Zumo and you've made that music, you're paying for the rest of your life. They're laughing because all they're going to do is open up a Spotify channel and use that music as their own. Say, oh, he did it, but it's ours. So we can license it, and we can also use that. It's not his, it's ours because it's our machine. He used our machine to make that music. You know, the musicians can't see that. They just cannot see that. You are really just wasting your time paying money every month to use this bloody technology, and all you're going to do, really, simple enough, you're going to make music, oh fantastic, brilliant, you know, but what are you going to do with it? You can't sell it, you can't license it, it's not yours. Don't do it. And there's Timberley, they're saying, oh yeah, it's brilliant, you know, I do this, yes. No, you don't, you just get paid £1 million to say that, that's all you do. I say as it is. Oh dear. Well, yeah, I don't know what you make of it, really, it's confusing. Bugger it, I'm going to have an OMD, I think. Let's have an OMD. Let's have an OMD. He says, let's have an OMD, can you find the bloody thing? OMD. Because everyone asks for it every week. Oh, that's cool, isn't it? That's a chilled out OMD. It's definitely a chilled out OMD. Well, that's cool, isn't it? Eh? Let's go a bit quicker than that, shall we? Okay, let's see what it's going to put me on. There you go. OMD in flutes. 3 or 4 different combinations there to put together for you guys. Hope you enjoyed that bit. One of my favourite artists is touring at the moment around. He's doing actually, I suppose you could call it what I'm doing here, but with a lot more lights and lasers. It's Jean-Michel Jarre, and he's touring all over the world again. Not with all the full loads of stuff he used to have. It's more LED and everything like that. It's amazing technology now. And obviously one of the ones that he's going to be doing is, well, if I can find it, Rendezvous Houston, there you go. So I'm going to leave you this one with you, because it's now 4 o'clock in the morning. And we've been recording quite a bit. I'm going to get these ready for putting on YouTube for tomorrow. So out of office, out of the studio, into the office. It's all go. If you're liking some of them 432 for relaxed stuff, I'm actually now doing them on vinyls. As I say, follow all the links there, they all go to somewhere. There's merchandise, there's everything, same as hat. And the girl that's living with me at the moment, oh no, Livy. She's got one of these bathing costumes with DJ SF on, and there'll be a few photos of them. You can get them from my store, my merchant store, because her other costume was falling to bits. Okay, right, this one is Rendezvous Houston. Houston, so a bit of Jean-Michel Jarre. He's going around the world with his keyboards and all the computers that help him. I don't get all that, I have to do it all manually. Okay, well thanks very much for joining me. Check out all the links, they go to everywhere. We have merchandise, I have records, I have CDs, whatever you need. But I don't stream. That's a rip-off for me and you. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. There you go, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. We got there eventually. I spent about an hour faffing around with the camera, trying to get that third camera working, but I shall have to look into that one. We've got two cameras working at the moment. That one and that one. Hang on, go back to that one. There you go. But I was hoping to get three cameras working, one that could show you what I do here, because everyone thinks it's just a piano. No, there's lots of things to that one. And you have to hit them at the right angle, at the right time, and bring things in. You're basically a conductor, really. No AI there, no computers or anything. We are talking about 40-year-old keyboards here, and 30-year-old keyboards. 20-year-old ones downstairs. They're not modern, but they have a few tricks up the sleeve. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining me. This is a recording, obviously, because it's not gone live. I don't think it is anyway. I'd have to have a quick check. I know it came up saying you got to log in, so obviously it didn't go live. So basically, I'm tending to have this on as a standby for recording. So I'll record it, and it puts it straight back onto the hard drive. And then I just retrieve it with a USB, take it into the office, and put it on YouTube from there. And it makes things a lot easier. But I can't talk to people because it's not live. So anyway, guys, take care, and I will see you soon.